or owns a beauty salon or something of that nature. I don't know. I don't know this guy. But what I am going to do is I had a 29-minute conversation with Bimmy about this situation when it came to why they think he's a CI, which again you can find on the Hunter Show YouTube channel. And today, I'm gonna play you a 25-minute paperwork reading of Manny Dog on Supreme. Again, the issue is nobody saying Manny Dog name. None of the bloggers, none of the YouTube dudes, nobody in New York, Zip the Drip, 050 China, Harlem Legend, Hassan Campbell, nobody that been screaming Bimmy's name is saying Manny Dog name. So are people scared of Manny? Is Manny what we call, you know what? Listen, I'm gonna let y'all hear this, right? I'm gonna let y'all hear, again, what they're accusing Bimmy of, Supreme did time for, but never mentioned Bimmy's name when he was doing the time. Bimmy was helping run the organization. Now, I don't know if it's some other paperwork or documents out there. It could be, but at this present time, there's nothing but what Supreme is saying. And we all come from documentation beats conversation. Now, Supreme is doing, I don't know, 4 or 5 life sentences right now, based upon with this guy, Manny Dog, who he allegedly hired and employed to put together a kill squad to kill E Moneybags, to unalive E Moneybags. Shout out to Hip Hop Council for the $49.99 super chat. Shout out to my main man, Lavish. So, again, unlike Bimmy, there's no documentation, there's no none of this. But this guy is on the street in New York. Nobody's mentioning him. And these are the allegations.
Time was of the essence that, well, he was trying to explain to me, which I later found out was, it was a little different, is that these guys was also trying to kill Irv Gotti, was trying to actually rob him and extort him. Okay, who was Irv Gotti? He's a rapper, like he's in the music industry. Okay, at the time, did you know what Irv Gotti's business was in the music industry? Yeah, I knew who he was. Who was he? Just a producer. He ran a company. What was the company called? Murder Inc. And did that company have any famous artists that made the company well known? Gyro and Ashanti. And did you learn anything from Supreme about his relationship with Irv Gotti? Yeah, that they was good friends. What else did McGriff tell you then? He told me that he had other guys that was looking for the guys that he wanted me to kill too, so.
McGriff is Supreme. Pay attention.
And what was the context of him telling you that? Try to get us to do faster. Did you have a discussion at that point about whether you were going to be the one to kill the person or whether you needed additional people? Yeah, he said I needed more people, like 3 or 4 guys. Okay, did he tell you how many people it was did McGriff tell you how many people he wanted dead? Yes, 4. It was 4 guys. Did he share the names with you at that point? Yes. What were the names? Big Nose Troy, E Moneybags, a guy named Homicide, and another guy named Green Eyed Born. Okay, this was in 2001, correct? Yeah, around 2001. I'm not sure on the dates. Did you discuss a means of communicating between the two of you? Yeah, we used phones, but I had a two-way pager. He told me he would give me another one later. So did you use a two-way pager to communicate with him at times? Yes.
Again, this is Manny Dog on the stand in the Supreme case, saying he was the one hired to put together the unaliving on E-Money bags. Let's keep it going.
And you also use telephones? Yes. And did you discuss, well, what did you do after this meeting? How did you leave things with him? He actually wanted to show me a house that we was going to stay at. And by the way, did you discuss money at some point? Yes. What was the discussion about money? The contract was for $25,000.
Now, he's identified who the targets were and how much money they were getting paid. Let's see if this $25,000 for everybody or per person, because they named 3-4 people. Let's see.
$25,000? A person, per person. Per shooter or per victim? Per victim. And you said that McGriff wanted to show you a house? Yeah, he
That's
took
a
us to a
hundred
house
ball.
in Queens. Can you describe anything about the house? All I remember is the house was close to like a little pond. All right, I am going to show you what's been marked as Government's Exhibit 2002-A, 2002-C, and 2002-D for identification. And I will just show them all to you. Do you recognize 2002-A? Yeah, that's the house. Okay, this is the house that McGriff showed you? Yes. 2002-C, do you recognize that? It looks like the pond I was just describing. Okay, and 2002-D, do you know if that's near the house? Yeah, that's a little further on the left. On the right side, my right side of the house, it's the street, an avenue. Same street and avenue, just not right here, near the house? Yes. I'll move exhibits 2002-A, C, and D as in David into evidence. All right, no objection, they're in. What is it that McGriff wanted to show you about this house? Just where me and other guys would be staying. What do you mean by staying? Like when we came to Queens, because when we came, we didn't really know what the guys looked like. So when we came to Queens, we would probably stay in this house for a while and then go out and look for the guys and then come back to this house. I actually left the guys that I had brought out to Queens with me. They stayed there. I never stayed there. Okay, so this was a place where McGriff was offering you and your team to stay? Yes. While you were looking for these people, is that right? Yes. Okay, after that meeting, what did you do? We went to his house and we stayed there he just showed the house and then we all just left. And what did you do after that? Excuse me? What did you do after leaving the house? I went home. Okay. How about during the days that followed that? We came back and forth to Queens. I came back and forth to Queens and we rode around and we looked for the guys. We had a guy named, let me just stop you there. Before you actually went out, did you hire people to do this with you? Yes. Okay, who did you hire? A guy named TJ, Barry Broughton, Smiley, and Les. All right, so
5 killers. 4 killers, he the 5th one. Again, this is Manny Dog, who's in New York right now currently, running a beauty supply shop or something. But nobody's saying his name in New York. They all screaming Bimmy, but we have nothing of this magnitude. We don't even have Bimmy's name on a piece of paper. We're going to keep going.
Saw Exhibit 28. That's Barry Broughton. You saw 27, is that right? Smiley. Okay, and just for identification, I'll show you the last three, which are 31. Do you recognize who that is? Les. Okay, and 57. Do you recognize that person? TJ. Number 57, did you say? Yes, Your Honor. 31, 57, and 58? Who is 58? Show him 58. Who is that? Les. So, Les again? I'll cut that down to 57 and 31. I'll move both of those into evidence. This may be a good time to take our mid-morning break. We will return in 15 minutes, 10 to 12 o'clock. All right, let's continue with the questioning.
Now, so far, this dude, Manny Dog, has identified that Supreme approached him to unalive 3 or 4 people, E-Money Bags being the #1 target. Has also told him, I'm gonna pay you $25,000 per person. Has also said that you need to get 3 or 4 more people. Has also provided walkie-talkies for communication and a place to stay in Queens until they hunt these individuals down. This is what Manny Dog is saying, who took the stand. A dude that's documented who's responsible for Preem doing the life sentence he's doing now. But nobody's saying his name. I don't get it. China, you too loud. Harlem Legend, you too loud. Hassan Campbell, Zip with the drip. Y'all screaming Bimmy. Y'all know Bimmy ain't even in New York. He out the country. He down doing what he doing, driving Rolls Royces. You ain't got no documentation, no recording, no taking a stand, nothing. You scream. It's like y'all selective politicking. Let's keep it going, though. It gets better.
Mr. Mosley, just one thing I'd just like to follow up with. In your 1987 arrest, when you were arrested for the guns in the back of the livery cab, do you recall that you were interviewed at that time for what's called a pre-sentence report in the state? In what year? In 1987. Oh, 1987. You said I was interviewed for probation? Before sentencing in that case by the state authorities? No. Okay. I'd like to just show you what I'll deem marked as 3500-EM-6. I'm going to show that just to the witness. Is it on your screen? It's not on mine. Mr. Mosley, is that on your screen? It didn't come up on mine. Yes. Okay, so I'm just going to point down here. During that interview, do you recall telling the authorities that you just pled guilty to get the case over with and that you didn't do it? Yeah, I didn't get caught with the firearms. Okay, but you actually knew that the guns were there, correct? There were 2 individuals in the car with me. I knew they had guns on them. I watched them put them under the seat of the cab. Okay, and so you legally possessed those guns, correct? Yes. All right, so let's go back. I'm just going to show you for identification Government's Exhibit 30. Do you recognize that person? How about? Okay, I move Exhibit 30 into evidence. All right, no objection in evidence. And who is how about? That's the guy that used to drive us around Queens when we was looking for the guys. Okay, so this was someone who was affiliated with who? Supreme Griff. And had you known him before you agreed to commit these murders for Supreme? No. And did this is the person that showed you around Queens when you were looking for the victims, is that right? Yes. Excuse me, what number is that again? Exhibit 30, Your Honor. Just 30. Okay, in evidence. So let me go back then to the people that you recruited to murder. Now, did you have an order for what victim was going to be killed? Big Nose Troy and E Moneybags. And did McGriff tell you why it was that those people had to be murdered first? Yeah, he told me that E Moneybags was trying to extort Irv Gotti and that Big Nose Troy was like partners with him. Okay, and for that job, you said that you recruited Tripp. Is that correct? Yes. And so, in evidence, Exhibit 28, that's Tripp, correct? Yes. Okay, and you said you had known Tripp going back even as far as Pennsylvania, right? Yes. All right. Government's Exhibit 27, which is in evidence. Alvin Smiley. And how did you happen to recruit him for this hit team? I recruited him through Les. And how was it that Les knew this person? From the Polo Grounds. We all live in the same neighborhood. Okay, and was there anything... Did he say Polo Grounds? Sorry, is that what you said? The Polo Grounds? Yeah, from the Polo Grounds. Was that near your neighborhood, the Polo Grounds? Yeah, about 6 blocks difference. And what, if anything, did you learn from Les about Alvin Smiley that made Alvin a candidate in your mind to do this? He told me that Alvin had shot somebody or shot at someone with a shotgun. And you also said that you recruited someone named TJ? Yes. What caused you to recruit TJ? That was through Les as well. That was his friend. Okay, and did you learn anything about TJ or what was that? Why was it that you hired him? Les just told me that he would be down. Okay, and by be down, what do you mean by that? To roll with the hit team? So just so the jury's clear, 57 in evidence is who? TJ. Okay, and 31 in evidence? Les. And by the way, 26, which I think is already in evidence, if not, that's me. Okay, so if it's not, I would just move it into evidence. Exhibit 26 is in evidence now. Was there anybody else that you hired for this? For this particular job? Yeah. eBay. All right, well, didn't you hire eBay to do Troy? Yeah, but that was later on. Initially, the guys that you just put on the screen, those are the guys that I hired initially.
Okay. For those of you guys just coming into the room, welcome to the Hunter Show YouTube channel. Give me a thumbs up and let's hit that subscribe button. What we're going over is, we got The Supreme Truth, a documentary that's been released, is out. It's up on an all-black platform. Go check it out, right? But they're screaming, Bimmy, Bimmy, Bimmy. They saying he been a CI for 40 years. Now, we ran the content a couple days ago. You can check that out. It's on the Hunter Show YouTube channel and hear what Bimmy had to say about that. We got all the paperwork to the case. We was unable to find Bimmy's name in the case. Supreme is very adamant that Bimmy is a CI. It was a little weird because Bimmy continued to work for Supreme thereafter, and for what Bimmy's saying, because he didn't want to pay and be an ATM machine and do what they want him to do, now they trying to dirty his name. People seen this content. My New Yorkers reached out, said, Wack, we're wondering why all these people that screaming Bimmy name but don't have no documentation, right, are ignoring Manny Dog, the person that has Supreme doing the life sentence right now. For those of you guys that may have missed the first 13 minutes of this, you can go back and rewatch it when we're done with this, but it's another 13 minutes of this left. And listen to Manny Dog give a full description. He said Supreme came to him, contracted him to unalive 3 or 4 people, E-Money Bags, Big Nose, Troy, and a few other people, gave him instruction to hire people, gave him a home to live in, communication advice, said, we're gonna give you 25 racks per head. That's 100 ball on the table. That's where we're at. But again, 050 China Harlem legend, Zip with the Drip, Hassan Campbell, all y'all, ain't nobody saying nothing about Manny Dog And he on the street, ain't nobody saying nothing. He's on the stand. Let's continue to listen to the prosecutor question Manny Dog.
Okay, so there were 2 murders, right? Yes. The first one was Moneybags, correct? Yes. And the second one was Troy, correct? Yes. And you didn't hire eBay for the first one, right? No. He didn't participate in that, right? Not at all. All right. So once you had recruited these people, you said that you spent time looking for the victims. Is that right? Yes. Okay. How did you go about doing that? Well, first of all, how did you go about knowing who you were going to kill? Because how about knew all these guys, all the individuals involved, so he would be our eyes? Did you have a photograph of any of those people? Yeah, we had a blurry photograph of Moneybags. Okay, and can you describe, did you go to this house while you were looking for Moneybags? Yes. Can you describe what was in the house? We went, we actually went to the basement. We never really explored the whole house. We went in the house and went straight down to the basement, which consisted of just lots of videotapes and TV and a couch. And that's where we had the guns at. That's where the guns that Supreme gave us to actually do the job was inside the house, in the basement. Can you describe how you knew the guns were there and what guns you and your team had access to? He gave us the guns. He gave me the guns, actually. Me and him talked about, firearms. I told him we would need him to provide them for us. So he took me there personally by myself first and gave me a bag. It was in a black duffel bag. Was this different from the day that Supreme first showed you the house? Yes. So you went out to Queens again and met with Supreme? Yes. What else do you remember about that meeting? That that was the meeting when he kept explaining to me how many guys it was and, how fast he needed it done. Okay, how did he pass the guns to you? They was already in the basement, so when I went there, he just pulled out the bag and showed them to me. How many guns were in the bag, do you remember? It was a few guns, maybe about 8 to 10. Okay, do you remember anything about the guns? There was a bulletproof vest, one that was made of a t-shirt, and there was a couple of 9mm, AR-15, and just a bunch of handguns. Okay, for somebody who's not familiar with guns, what does an AR-15 look like? It's a machine gun. Can you explain what happened when you started looking for either Moneybags or Big Nose Troy?
Manny Dog is going all in. He went through the drive-thru and ordered everything twice. Again, I'm confused on why they keep screaming Bimmy's name, but nobody's mentioning Manny Dog name, and he's the one that got Supreme doing the time. For those of y'all, go cop the Supreme Truth. Take a look at it. It's on All Black Network. Google it, find it. It's on your smart TV somewhere. But we confused on they screaming Bimmy's name. Bimmy ain't got no paperwork. Bimmy ain't on no stand. You guys been good, but nobody's saying Manny Dog's name. And this is obvious. Let's keep rolling.
We would just ride around to different various places. We'd even ride around at nighttime, go to different clubs, see if How About would be able to spot any of them. And what did you do at the end of a night looking for the victims? We returned back to the house and I'd go home and I'd leave the guys there. Did the people that you had hired, where did they stay at night? They stayed in the house. All right, and did you see Supreme McGriff during this time? Yeah, I seen him periodically. He was going back and forth out of town. Now, when you would look for the victims, were you all in the same car, your whole team? Yeah, we had two different vehicles that we used that he provided for us. Can you explain that? What part? Just explain, did you have a pattern of who would ride in what car and how you would ride around? We just periodically get in cars and just go. But how about would do a lot? He would do all the driving pretty much, so he could show us around Queens. How about Supreme McGriff? Was he ever present when you were looking for the victims? Yes, on several different occasions, but it would just be me and him. Okay, can you explain that further? You and him would meet up? Yeah, me and him would meet up, separate from the guys. The guys never really met Supreme. I'd keep that separate. Was there a reason that caused you to keep them separate? Yes, I didn't really want them to know who we was doing the job for. Why is that? Because of the coming to jail and any of those guys end up sitting where I'm sitting. When you rode with Supreme to look around, was the hit team nearby or was it just the two of you looking, you and Supreme? They'd be nearby. Would they be in a separate car? Yeah, with how about? While you were looking, did you carry a firearm with you? Sometimes. How about Supreme? Did he have a firearm? Yes. How do you know? He showed it to me. All right. When you were in the car with your hit team, did they have guns with them? Yes. Where did they carry the guns? We had a stash spot, a stash inside the car on the side of the car. What do you mean by a stash spot? There was a panel in the door that would open up. If you turn the dial of the radio and turn on the air conditioner, it would open up. So would that be something that you wouldn't see unless you knew it was there? Absolutely. Were you looking for the victims every single day? Not every day. How often do you recall doing that? Like 10 days out of a 14-day span? Well, if you were in the car with Supreme, how did you communicate, if at all, with the other people on the team? We had walkie-talkies. Did your crew successfully kill E Moneybags? Yes. About how long do you remember looking for him, to the best of your recollection, before the team killed him? Maybe a few months, maybe a month and a half or so. Do you recall how you found him? Yes. What happened? How about had a girlfriend, I can't remember her name, but we been in contact with her, and E Moneybags used to be around that area that she lived in. And she was looking out the window and she saw his car and he was driving a Jeep and she had a videotape and she was videotaping it. And at the same time she was videotaping, she was talking to Supreme on the phone. Was Supreme with you when E Moneybags was murdered? Yes. Can you explain how it is that...
So now he just got the chick accessory to the murder. This dude's diabolical. Let's keep it rolling.
Traveled to the murder scene? First of all, where was the hit team when you found out where E Moneybags was? In the house. The lake house? Yes, the lake house. And how did you get from the lake house to where the murder happened? The lady called Supreme was telling him that E Moneybags was over there. So when she called him, he told me about it and I told him to get ready. You were already with Supreme? Yes, I was with him already. You received a phone call. The lady you mean, how about's girlfriend? Yes. What happened then? We all got in different, separate cars. Me and him, we got in a different car. I walkie-talkied them, and they got in a different car. How about rode by a motorcycle? He rode by to make sure this was them over there. How about rode by who on a motorcycle? E Moneybags. You were in the car with whom? Supreme. And the shooters were together in another car? Yes. How about put his motorcycle up and got in the car with them? So how about went to see where E Moneybags was and came back to the house? Yeah. And then drove the shooters to the scene? Yes. What happened when you got there? They got out of the car. Let me ask you, did you see this happen or were you in a different? I was in a different, like a block over. Okay. In some area where they had a lot of trees. And what happened when you were on that block? I could just hear the gunshots. What did you see after hearing the gunshots? I seen Barry Broughton running. Where was he running? He was running close to us by the trees and he wanted to get in the car with me and I told him nah. I got on.
Unaliving just happened of E Moneybags. He's giving a description what happened after the fact. Payments. Stay tuned.
Walkie-talkie and I called the guys that was driving the other car and how about picked him up. I didn't watch him pick him up. I know he picked him up because we all met up again. What happened after the other people picked up Barry Broughton? They were going back to the house and dropped off the guns. Did you meet with the team after that? Meaning the hit team after this? Yes. And did anybody tell you what happened? Yes, they told me that TJ didn't fire any shots. And did they tell you anything else about the murder? Yes. What's that? They told me that that there was a bunch of guys standing around the car and that they took off running when they started firing on E Moneybags that he actually had a gun. So did anybody other than Barry Broughton shoot at E Moneybags according to the hit team? Yes, everybody, but I found out later that Les actually didn't fire any shots either. Okay, did you do anything to confirm that E Moneybags had in fact been killed? No, I really didn't do anything in particular. Did you find out? Were you concerned that maybe he hadn't? Maybe that actually hadn't happened? No. Why not? I don't know. I didn't think. I could hear the shots. I found out later on that he was dead. Supreme told me. Did you see Supreme after E Moneybags was killed? Yes, he was in the car with me. But after that day, did you see him? Yes, I met up with him to get paid. Where? Do you remember where he paid you for that first one? I was downtown somewhere. I think it was like 23rd Street in Manhattan. And what happened when you met him to get paid? He was with a girl outside of a restaurant. He came outside. I stood outside. He came outside to talk to me. He had a brown bag with him, and we just talked about it for a little while. What was in the brown bag? Money. In what form? $25,000. Cash? Yes. What did you do with that money? I took it, called the guys up, and paid them. How much did you pay the guys? I gave Les $4,500. I was supposed to give him $5,000, but I gave him $4,500. I gave Barry Broughton $4,500. I gave TJ $3,000 because he didn't fire any shots, and I gave Alvin $4,500. You kept your $5,000? Yes, I kept the rest. Plus the extra that you had withheld from the members of the team, is that right? Yes. After you killed E Moneybags, who did you intend to kill next? Troy, Big Nose Troy.
Listen, he paid 3 cats $4,500, 1 cat $3,000 because he didn't fire no shots, and he kept $8,500 in his pocket, right? These men could have went to work for a month and made this same money, if not more, but they choose to accept what they wanted to accept to commit an unaliving against E Moneybags. It was 100 ball on the table, 25 ahead. But I guess I don't know what happened with Big Nose Troy. I don't know if that happened. I don't know. I'm pretty sure one of my New Yorkers is gonna send me some content. Now, here goes the reason why I'm running this content. Bimmy, Bimmy, Bimmy. Bimmy this, Bimmy that, Bimmy this, Bimmy that, Bimmy, 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 Bimmy. That's all we hearing. Let me remind y'all, right? We bimmied out, right? Remember this?
And, he goes away on conspiracy charges. He had been arrested and prosecuted based on a search of a premises that he was in. These were dirty cops who were working with a dirty line CI. Sergeant Foster and Myron Cherry both lied under oath just to try to arrest me. James, Benny, Andy has been a CI for over 40 years. Benny is the CI they described in this search warrant affidavit and lies that two people were kidnapped and beaten.
That's very loud. That's a loud statement. That's Supreme on the Supreme Truth documentary that's out on All Black platform. That's Supreme saying Bimmy's been a CI since 1985. We can't find no evidence of this. We talked to Bimmy the other day. 30-minute recording is on the content on the Honey Show YouTube channel. Y'all go check it out. But yet, this dude, Manny Dog, as you heard, he gave full details of everything. He went to McDonald's, Burger King, In-N-Out, Carl's Jr. Nigga pulled up to White Castle. Said, I want everything twice. Gave it up. Here go the problem. I smell some selective politicking. Yeah. I'm calling out all y'all in them blogs. Because, see, I think it's some cowardice or cowardism going on. 050 China, you talk too loud. You talk too loud. Why you ain't asked nobody to leave it in the comments about Manny Dog, China? Huh? I ain't heard you say leave it in the comments. Harlem Legend, you more laid back. I ain't heard nothing, my brother. Haven't heard nothing. Zip with the drip. Let's talk about it. You ain't talking about it. You ain't mentioning Manny Dog's name and it's there to talk about. And Hassan Campbell, as y'all know, we ain't really heard nothing what's going on because at the end of the day, I think y'all know that Manny Dog don't play. He's what we call a killer rat. We all got him. We all got him. Cast as killers that have ratted, that still kill and will kill and know how to kill. I'm just trying to figure out. It seemed to me like y'all, Bimmy kicking 60 years old in the ass. He in cruise control. He out here getting his bag. My man just brought him a high rise in Turkey. You know what I'm saying? He got him another spot down south. He got Rolls Royces. He just invested in a club situation I know down here in Texas. He got a few moves going on. And it's like Bimmy said, Wack, I told him I ain't nobody else ATM. I ain't did business with y'all over 35 years. I'm out. Don't call me about nothing. Now, all of a sudden, 40 years later, they saying the Bimster is a CI for 40 years. Now, that's some bad math. As my brother Zeke Black called me and said, Wack, for them to say that means that you guys intentionally allowed him to work your organization, meet other people, like, what's going on? Was y'all like third-party co-oping? There's a lot of speculations going on because for this to be true, we wondering, well, why wouldn't you Why would he run your organization? Why when you got out, it wasn't a problem? Then he did the 3 to life. Nobody poked on him or did nothing to him. He got out, it wasn't a problem. He get the job at Def Jam, it's not a problem. But when he says, water off, I ain't got nothing for you, it's a problem 40 years later. But yet, Manny Dog, listen, brother, I don't want no problems. I don't know you. My New Yorkers send me the content saying, Wack, we are sick and tired of being sick and tired of them screaming Bimmy Anthony's name, that he's a CI with no documentation, but won't none of them mention nothing about Manny Dog, and he run around New York getting his money with beauty salons, doing his thing, and won't nobody say nothing, do nothing, and even in the Supreme Truth, I still don't know if they mention Manny Dog. Maybe y'all should tell me. The Supreme Truth is available on All Black. It's out. If it was greater than, less than, should Manny Dog name be mentioned more, or should Bimmy name be mentioned more? We hearing what you're saying, and if we going by the popularity vote and the stigma of who people supposed to be, and all that, then they gonna listen to you. But if we going by the rules, we ain't seen nothing, we ain't heard nothing, we ain't read nothing on James Bimmy Anthony. We haven't. Now, I don't know if the Supreme Team is over there sitting on the smoking gun. I don't know. I'm just saying up to present day, there's not a document that doesn't read this man's name. There's no paperwork, there's no interviews, there's nothing. But Manny Dog, nasty dog. Listen, we just listened to 26 minutes of him giving a whole breakdown. Who did what, who gave what, lived what, how, what got hit, who paid what, who, what. And ain't nobody said his name one time. I smell some selective politicking. In 050 China, Harlem legend, Zip with the Drip, Hassan Campbell, the loudest bullhorns in the city. Those who understand what it means to stay strapped with the extended charge cord. We want answers. Stop picking on Bimmy. Y'all picking on Bimmy. Bimmy's in his retirement time. You ain't got nothing. I want to see y'all digging at his content. I'm a West Coast ninja. Cats from the East Coast say Wack. They scared to speak the truth. You all we got, Wack. They say Wack. Wack. We need help. I said, what you need help for, my good New York brother? These dudes, what dudes? 050 China. Who else? Zip with the Drip. What? We ain't done, Wack. Harlem legend and Hassan Campbell are petrified to speak this man's name because they know what he do and they running around town getting money, beautify. Some of them even sending a woman to his salon, his beauty salon. I couldn't believe it. I said, bull crapper dapper. No way. He said, yes way. And they sent me the content. They sent it. I mean, I don't know what y'all want me to do, but they sent, this ain't my fault. I ain't asked these people to send me these things. But, bro, it's right here, man. Crown TV Courts got this shit. Been there 3 years. 3 years. So we gonna sit back and we gonna see if they gonna continue to scream James Bimmy Anthony's name. Well, they have no documentation, no audio, they don't have no nothing. The timeline don't add up. We went over this. You can go back to the 100 YouTube show channel and you can hear Bimmy speak on this. But yet we just played Manny Dog give up the whole operation, which got Supreme, I don't know, 4, 5 life sentences, I don't know. If y'all want to know some more details, tune in to The Supreme Truth. It's a documentary that's out. It's a whole lot of things in there that people don't know about. It's a whole lot of things being said. But what we need to do is we need to watch this documentary and we need to see what things are intentionally not being said, if that's the case. But we won't know unless you take the time to tune in on an all-black platform and watch The Supreme Truth. In the meantime, y'all need to stop saying Bimmy name. And if y'all not gonna speak on Manny Dog, y'all need to just confess that you're scared. You're scared that old Manny Dog may go put the team together to find you. Until next time, y'all stay safe. Keep your head on the swivel. Give me that thumbs up. Click that subscribe